Back here on our signing day special, Mike, Allen, Jerry, and Howard. Last year, Minnesota was playing in the final game of the season for a chance to make it to the Big Ten title game. This year, they're bringing in a stock of players, headlined by Charlie Rogers, or as he's known, Ace. He's already on campus as an early enrollee, as is Tyler Moore. Demry Croft is tall, 6'5", has dual threat capabilities at the QB position. And linebacker Jalen Waters comes to Minneapolis from Texas, the same high school that Heisman winner Robert Griffin III went to. For more on this, Gopher head coach Jerry Kill is here. Jerry, when we talked last year, you said wide receiver tight end was your biggest need. What's the biggest need in this year's class?
Well, we really need to do a good job in the offensive line because of, we're losing some kids and losing some kids next year. So we feel like we did a great job in the offensive line situation, getting kids that are big and athletic. And then in the secondary, we have a very strong secondary coming back. And with them coming back, we're going to lose 4 of them a year from now. So we felt like we had to get that, that stockpiled again. So we went after several secondary players and was fortunate that we feel like we did a very good job. And I think they're very talented, like the group we have right now.
When you first watched quarterback Demry Croft on film, what stood out?
Well, the great thing is I don't know if we'd have known much about him. He came to camp, and he ran 4.6, and for us and the way our guys time, that's pretty good. And he threw the ball, and he was kind of hidden guy. He played wide receiver as a junior, and then got called to duty at quarterback halfway through. And he's got a very, very strong arm. He's got length and speed, and then his film, is very, very, very good. Played an all-star game and lit it up there. So, very blessed, in my opinion. He's a steal because of we got him into camp and we could see what he could do. Had a good senior year, and you look around the league, you better have an athletic guy that can run and throw it, and this young man can.
Give me an example of a player in this class we haven't talked about that excites you.
Jonathan Femi Cole, a running back out of Canada. A kid that's about 6'1", 218. He's got to get over speed. He's timed, I believe, at 4.5 in the Nike Combine. And you put his film on, he can get it over with. Very physical kid. And, he's one of them, again, that probably not a lot of people know about because he's in Canada. But I'm excited to see him when he comes into camp and get a chance to work with him because I think he's got tremendous upside, as well as several players. But if you just took one and said, what are you most excited about to see somebody, what they can do, he's one of them.
Jerry Kill, Gopher head coach. Thanks for the time. Congrats on your class.
Thank you.
And we talked there about Demry Croft, the quarterback who played a little wide receiver there in high school. They're going to focus on him at QB. How come?
Well, I think for one thing, Coach mentioned that he hadn't played a lot of quarterback, but he quickly showed a lot of polish once he got in that position. As a senior, he only threw 4 interceptions, took excellent care of the football, makes really good decisions. He touched on the athleticism this kid has at 6'5". I had a chance to see him at the Elite 11 tryout in Chicago, and he threw the ball very well there. And that was taking him out of his element, which is being able to run with the football as well. So they've done a lot of things with quarterbacks on the move at Minnesota, and I think that Demry fits perfectly into what they do. He's going to get bigger and stronger and only get better as he goes on. And he's going to have a great target to throw to. And tight end Bryce with him. I had to get one Grand Rapids guy on the show. Bryce goes to school right down the street from where I live, so I had to get him in as well.
Tyler Moore, big offensive lineman, 6'5", over 300 pounds, is a type of player that Coach Limegrover is really going to enjoy coaching when you talk about his ability to move around. And he has that ability. And again, it's just about these big physical kids. And one of the things that's impressive about him, he's played the guard position and also center in high school. But when he decides to lock on to somebody, you're not going anywhere. He's going to play, as I like to say, snap the whistle. He's going to drive you to the ground. He's got a lot of nasty in him. And the type of person that can bring attitude to an offensive line. And those are the type of players that Coach Limegrover looks for. Also the smart guys that can move around because they ask that offensive line to do a lot. So you have to be athletic to play offensive line in Minnesota.
And the other thing Minnesota does, Howard, is they find these athletes that maybe aren't highly recruited. Ray Buford is from Southfield, Michigan. No other Big Ten school recruited him, which obviously means Michigan and Michigan State passed on him. They're going to try him at cornerback. He's a very good athlete. He plays both wide receiver and cornerback, but Minnesota will start him on defense. He's a 3-star. He's big, he's physical, he's 6'1", 195. He may be over 200 pounds at this point. He's got great timing on the break on the ball, which you've seen this play and the play before it. He's a very good take, but this is what Minnesota has done. This is what Jerry Kill's staff has done. They go into a bordering state, they go into a footprint state, and they may recruit a guy that's not being recruited by his home school, and they just make it work. And this is an example. You watch him on tape, he has a lot of skills, and I think he was a really good take for Minnesota.
And he hopped in there, and they took his teammate, Dior Johnson, at the last second as well, who was committed to Wake Forest. Ray was a guy they saw at the Sound Mind, Sound Body camp over the summer in Detroit. They sent their whole staff there. Ray worked out there, and that was where they first saw him. So that was a situation where they saw the kid in person and got to evaluate him in person, like what they saw. I think you like kids they take that way instead of just off a tape.
And like we said, Jerry Kill knows what he's doing. This was a very good year for them. It went down to the final game of the season. They were playing a game that if they won, they would win their division and go off to play in the Big Ten title game. And one of the finer moments for the Gophers this year was winning the Floyd of Rosedale Trophy. They did it by beating Iowa 51-14.